Hi everyone. Today is the second part of the Fire Walk with Me video that is a discussion or clearing up of understanding how complex ancestral contracts are. And today I'm going to be discussing the second part to what also comes up with regards to ancestral contracts, meaning we will be looking at information that is based on social constructs, uh, information that is regarding the reality in terms of militaristic complexes, complexes such as where social integration takes place, meaning if your grandparents or if your ancestors had taken part in certain social uh, agreements for socio-economic or socio-militaristic or socio whatever, um, the case is very quite simple that your grandparents or your great-grandparents or your ancestors would have been part of a particular agreement that had taken place back then. Now, the same thing takes place when, as I've said before, an example, when you look at marriages or when there's a birth that takes place, that there's a particular certification or an agreement where there's an exchange of a fingerprint, a thumbprint, any print, bloodlet, blood drop, or anything like that, even if you did not, even if the ancestors were not able to write or knew anything else, there was always an agreement, even if it was by word. These contracts can be formed, can be created, and can be kept in place by an agreement such as that, for example. Now, the next thing I would like to just bring to your attention or to your focus is to look at your ancestral bloodline, as I've said before, where you trace it all the way back to when there were agreements in terms of military, where there were agreements in terms of slavery, where there were agreements in terms of having to move a group of people from one particular area to another area, and in such a way look at what these blood rituals or these agreements or these contracts have kept in place for you as you are in this current present timeline or your lifetime, right where you are now. And if you find that it has influenced your family in such a way that you are literally finding that you are always in opposition to, or things are in a position to you, such as, for example, the ability to manifest, or the ability to create, or the ability to function as an organic human being in a society, I would recommend you trace the bloodline all the way further back. And many of you have contacted me in terms of trying to find out how to use the right words to clear the contracts. And I've also stipulated to some of you that you have to trace all the way back why you are susceptible to certain things. Why do you do certain things in your existence? Why is it that when you would like to start something up that you find that there's something always going against you? Now, I have to bring you back or recapitulate the information so that it becomes so that you are more clear in terms of that specific aspect as well, where the agreement from, let's give you a scenario, because it's the only way to basically discuss this is to give you certain scenarios to clear it up. If you come from a bloodline, for example, as I've said, let's use the example now for as a Templar bloodline. Your great grandparents or your ancestors were Templars, and they were involved in certain rituals, and the agreement was to go and gather treasures from certain countries or lands, or go and conquer certain lands, and then to bring that treasure back and to take it to a particular leader or lord or king or whatever, in lieu of freedom to live on a piece of land, freedom to have a piece of land where you are able to make a living as then. That is that there are multiple contracts in that specific scenario, as I've given you an example. The first contract would be the agreement to actually go and do something for another person to get something else for yourself. So if you then try and clear that up, you'll find that if you are busy revoking those contracts, that you come up with certain guilt feelings that you are not able to process. And that is to do with the agreement that was made back in the day, then, with that king, that if you do this for your country, then you will get something in the country. If you remove that, or if you revoke that agreement, you as your current person, um, the guilt comes in when you feel that you are doing your family a dishonor by revoking that agreement. And that is a guilt simplex or complex that is related to the social structure of the consciousness of man. And so that is a little part that is one example. There is another example where you will find yourself having to sail on a ship, and you're in this country, whichever country you are. Let's say you're sailing with, you're a British person and you have um, agreed to be taken up in arms, and you're going to go and conquer land to expand the territory. And all of these agreements that were made, if you go back in the day, you'll find out all of these contracts were all created in a way in lieu of, or you agree to do something because you want something else. So if you go and conquer that land, you go and approach foreign shores and you start to trade, that is part of that agreement. Because once trade starts in trading with exchanging of beads or food or ammunition or whatever it is, spices back as it was, as well, um, for arms, it can be anything, or for land. The agreements are held in place between yourself, your ancestors' bloodline, the land that they've conquered, and or that they've been part of the conquering, as well as where they come from. So it's a three-way contract that you're looking at. A contract, let me give you another example. A contract uh, that is made between two people normally requires one to make the contract, the other one to agree to the contract, and then there's a payoff for both parties. And normally that is why the contracts are so powerful. They are holding you into your social, spiritual structure of that timeline. And so we can look at current communities, we can look at current races, we can look at people that have lived in numerous countries. Let's use basically every person on the planet has been involved in some sort of contract, whether it was kill that person and you'll get that person's land, or kill that person or do that thing for that person and you'll get this or get that. So the onus lies with both parties, but more so for the person that has agreed to that actual contract. And so what's important is that I did start off by saying I'm talking about the contracts that are made with regards to military, for example, and industrial complexes, social, economical constructs or complexes, financial complexes, industrial, etc. All of these things, all of these egregores, these elements that a person has to sign something to agree to something else, is basically something that you tie your soul into. And when I say, when they say, oh no, that person's definitely sold their soul to the devil for X, Y, and Z, then that is literally what perhaps has happened at the time. Needless to say, it is quite a dramatic expression, but it does give you an idea of how powerful contracts are. Contracts are, as I've said before, made with words. Words are really the basic building blocks for this particular solar system, this universe that we exist in. It's based on language, it's based on the expression of words, it's based on words speaking things into uh, action, into life. Words speak to life or speak to death, one or the other. As we progress in the current society of human race, we can see that there is a lot of agreements that have been coming through in terms of, as I've said, medical agreements, where people agree to do a certain thing, to allow a certain thing to take place to them, to their physical selves, where they are able to get something else out of it. You can look at insurance, medical insurances, for example. It's a very good example where you basically, as I've you've agreed to sign that contract and pay towards it so that you are able to experience potentially a downfall of your life. So you kind of like barter with the fact that you could fall ill severely and you would need that. So in other words, you would have agreed on a subconscious level and you've perhaps subjected yourself to that agreement where you are willing to let yourself or willing to approach that particular manifestation to take place for you to use that that financial agreement or that insurance. I've broken it extremely down. I've broken it down to such a extreme simple way so that we can understand. You have to break things down. The complexity of words, such as, for example, how words can be used to create a lot of misunderstanding and miscommunication in terms of not understanding intellectually, nothing wrong with your intelligence, but that there's such a severe mixing up of information that you don't know what to make sense of it. I'm talking about I'm also referring to the law. The law tends to be written in such a way that only certain people can understand it because they use that same type of jargon or that same type of word use to explain it. However, there's nothing wrong with just simplifying it and saying, if you go from point A to point B, you will pay tax between those two places. That's it. You don't have to go and say by the decree of so and so and the king's toenail this and that has said by the spatulation of his lips that so and so and so will happen, that you will pay tax. It's got nothing to do with you lose the quality of the understanding of what you've basically signed yourself into, and it's deliberately set up that way. And so I want you to go back, as I said before, revisit your past, revisit your timeline, revisit who you are, where you come from, your family, and the oaths that were made. There are numerous people that have agreed to set foot ashore to go and build a society to explore and expand land growth. And those are called settlers, or the word that is now vilified, basically any type of expansion, as the word colonialists. And those are people that are basically settlers or migrated from one point to point B to expand land. And everyone does that. Every single person does that at any given point in time. When you move from one town to another town, you do the same thing. So essentially, the magic manipulation, the magical manipulation with language is quite a severe thing. It's a very serious weapon. Since since the dawn of time. As I've said, the first original thing that happened, or the first original flaw, basically that took place, or the fall of human society took place when human society decided to agree to worship an external God as opposed to what was always within. And so that then changes the entire human race from the beginning up until where we are now, where humans cannot basically stop and focus within. And that is a problem, because if you find yourself unable to focus within and unable to track and dig into the resources that are infinite potential within your consciousness inside of you, then you are able to understand that that which is around you is really just a mirror of what is going on within you, or your reaction to it, rather. Um, so now I want to kind of wrap the ancestral aspect up by also bringing in other parts to it that are quite important, such as, for example, when I said magical, the words spelling you, or demystifying you into believing that if you go and burn that land, or you go and steal that land, or you go and capture that person, or you capture that city, or that town, that there's magical properties to it, or that there is a something to do with greed that you will gain from it. That is also a contract that you basically set up for yourself. We can spell ourselves, or magically spell ourselves into an agreement that falls in line with something that perhaps has been there before you were even born. And those ancient laws and contracts were brought in by the earliest ancestral lines, or bloodlines, where the agreement was that, as I've said, I'm coming back to the same thing, that if you worship the statue, you will be able to be blessed beyond, your ancestors will be as many as the sands of the sea. If you go and destroy that city, you will have 20 firstborn sons, all with blonde hair and blue eyes. If you uh, uh, these type of oaths, these are oaths, an oath that is made from within the self, where the self is making the oath for something else. I want to bring to your attention that the society as it is now has basically culminated to a place within the social, spiritual, soul aspect, or the consciousness of the human race itself has come to this place where they are experiencing a type of internal displacement, which is another buzzword that is obviously going to draw a lot of attention on here, but essential, because when you agree to 110 million thousand contracts at any given point in time of your existence, you will start to become fractured in all of those contracts. You will become displaced literally, and a part of you will exist within that particular contract or that agreement. So consider this, that you would basically fracture yourself, uh, perhaps subconsciously, perhaps consciously. Many do this consciously for what they can get at the end of the day. Now, uh, where I want to go with this is I want to draw your attention to the focus of need, of wants, of getting things done, of having to receive things. Then there must be a difference between how you are wanting to receive something specifically, and or what is it for that you would want that? Why do you want to go and destroy that land? Is it because some witch or a magician in your village perhaps has told you that if you go and take that land, it's a magical land, things will grow by themselves, that you'll fall for that aspect, you'll go for it because hell yes, why not? I mean, I've lived in squalor and nothing's happening. And so why not go to the greener side of the grass, or the grass is always greener on the other side. There is a constant dissatisfied state of energy within the human race itself, irrespective of who you are, where you come from, and in what way you feel you fit in society, which is number one, the problem. You should not want to fit inside a box, inside a puzzle. You should not want to fit into anything. You should want to become an individual experience of yourself. You should want to feel that you are able to live in peace with yourself first, before you are able to live at peace with others around you. Because, as I've said, whatever is happening within you is also something that is reflected and mirrored out at you, around you, and at you. So at any given point in time, you really have the choice to decide where you want to be with yourself. If you're at war with yourself, your experience will be warlike. If you are at peace with yourself, your experience will be peace-like. If you are at war with yourself, you will draw war to you, and you will take war wherever you go. If you are seeking peace, you must become peaceful within, and you will take peace with you wherever you go, and bring peace to whoever you speak and communicate and connect with. So these are the basic building blocks that basically overwrite and cancel out contracts that can be made to hold people in certain structures, because this is why the structure is the way it is. Many of those that have created the contracts, and I'm talking about the ones that we are looking at right now, the elitists. It's not even elitists. You can't even say that. You can't really say that. You would have to look at the I'm going to call them the Ministry of Magic, okay? And that is what I'm going to be calling them, as I always call them that. So the malevolent forces, okay? These malevolent forces that have ganged up together also create contracts within their peers, their groups, their structures, where they are, what they want from the whole thing in the end. It's a constant expression of power all the time, and power is really an illusion, because power really lies with what is within you, and what is within you is really the threat to that which is trying to stop you from going within you. This is why there's such a big drive to try and eradicate a certain percentage of populace on this world, because those that are busy questioning things, those that are that are revoking the contracts of their ancestral bloodlines, those people are freeing themselves from the mainstream system that is basically trying to keep bringing them back in. It keeps trying to rein a person in. For those of you who have been doing those exercises that I've asked for, that I'm doing with you, you are experiencing that there's a change around you and within you as you go through things. You're experiencing quite radical changes, and you are seeing that, versus where I was and versus to what I'm experiencing, it's completely different. I'm talking about myself as well. I can't speak for any one of you. But I do want to say that you can change these things. You can change the reality. You can change your reality, change your internal reality, so that you're able to progress forward in your life in a much more peaceful manner. Let me just say this. The system has to behave, has to go through a particular process, so that it can draw as many souls into its fold, so that it can fold these souls into using it as a massive power energy to build the Babylonian Tower. Okay? I'm calling it a Babylonian Tower because that is what it is. But we also know that the Babylonian Tower essentially will go down again. So, what they want, they know it as well. They are still trying to change the outcome for that process. We know that the uncreated creator, that which is beyond religion and that which is beyond human consciousness, um, has destroyed it before. And so the process that we're going through is a repetitive cycle, meaning you're given a chance to decide where you want to be in this game. Do you want to be one of the bricks of the tower so that you can touch your thinking of touching the toes of God, or to try and see if you can measure to God and you can be a God? Do you want to be part of that drive, that gold, all that gold to the Queen of Sheba, and offering everything to her so that she will take all of your soul energy and mash you all up and create a circular currency and then use you as capital to pay for glory, to pay for all of that? Or do you want to just basically live in a life where you are experiencing peace? You want to exist, you want to see your grandchildren, you want to see your great grandchildren, whatever the case. You want to live in peace and you want to live in such a way that you're able to understand you can make yourself warm, you can make yourself cool, you can drink water, you can eat something, and you don't have to stress. You want to just basically exist, focus with what is within, and continue with life. Which one is more boring than the other? I'll leave that to you to decide. Fact is, there are also people now in this age which has been, let's say, revealed to me to show me that their agenda is constantly being it's activated every day by consistency. They keep going at it with the same integrity, the same energy. These individuals are keys are seeing themselves as influencing society for the greater good, and that is a problem. That is what is perhaps also throwing the energetic structure out a bit. But you can also be consistent in what you're doing. You have the right to be able to be consistent in your mantras, in your revocations, in your visualizations, as what I'm doing every day. And if you're interested in finding that out, send me an email and I'll bring you into the group and you can do it as well. It's a boring group, really, because it's not churning out information like a sausage factory every moment of the day. This is the same as this channel. It's a very boring channel because it doesn't churn out information like a sausage factory. I'm being sarcastic. What I want to say is you're seeking the information to free yourself, freeing yourself from ancestral contracts, freeing yourself from a person, free your family, you yourself and your family from a great grandparent that has decided that you should all be called Johnson and you are the tribe of Johnson, or you are the tribe of Rockefeller, or you are the tribe of Red Shield, which then changes to Rothschild, whatever the case may be. If you're in that tribe and you want to be out of it, revoke your agreement to being part of that tribe, of that belief structure, of that system. If you're seeking to be part of your original, organic, authentic self, why do you agree, subconsciously possibly, that because you're all part of the family, you should all be called Rothschild? It's the same as, for example, it's a very good example, is, for example, the people in South Africa who are called the Zulu people. You're not all Zulu because Zulu is a surname. So you've all been locked into the belief that you should all be part of Zulu. Who said that was supposed to happen? It's like, for example, calling a person van der Merwe, uh, and because they have red hair and blue eyes. You know, van der Merwe is just because the first van der Merwe came here, had red hair and blue eyes. Now I have to be a van der Merwe too. No, I'm not a van der Merwe. My surname is Hartslief. That's who I am. And I don't have red hair and blue eyes that way. I have myself to be who I am right now. This doesn't mean that you negate or that you become emotionally distant from the family line, for example. It doesn't mean that at all. It means that you are standing up for yourself. It means that you are basically choosing the right to exist, to be authentic to who you are. There are too much influencers in the world that are trying to keep people in a state of accepting that just because red hair and blue eyes means van der Merwe, everyone should be a van der Merwe. That is irrespective. It is wrong. It is just another form of control. It is just another form of control over your bloodline. So what I'm trying to say to you is, as I've used a few examples here, the same goes for example, people who live in China now, or people who live in Russia, that because of this so-and-so X, Y, and Z, now, oh my God, no, you're the evil, you're evil, or you're this or you're that. Stop. Once you're involved in becoming emotionally investing inside of your individual consciousness, you will understand that you will start to be able to see that there are individuals around you in your life and those you speak to, and such as you on this channel, that you are beautiful, unique, individual fingerprints of a hand, that no fingerprint is the same as the other one, but you're all part of the hand. Doesn't mean you all blend together and you become this webbed hand, because that's what I think is busy happening, is that they're trying to create a webbed hand of some extraterrestrial entity, which is a psyop. Moving along from that, needless to say, basically what I want to share with you is to please continue. Please continue with investigating your bloodline, investigating who you are. And as I've said, if you don't know who you are, if your bloodline only goes a certain direction, a certain place, up to a certain point, then that's all you need to be concerned about. Then all you need to do is literally get rid of the contracts of feeling that you are perhaps self-sabotaging, because that could be something that is very deep in your bloodline that you have not discovered yet. Then revoke it. As I've said, if you don't know how to use the words or how to speak it, because you have to speak it in a particular way, and I will not share it on the channel because there are too many people that will take the information and abuse it. So you have to ask me how to do this, and I am happy to give you the information into how to do it. There are channels that are stealing work, and stealing of my channel, of my work. So I don't want my work to be stolen. This is my individual energy that I'm expressing with you. This is intellectual property, and it belongs to me. And you are a part of sharing that and using that to help yourself if you choose to. So I'm leaving this with you. I thank you for your time and for your donations. And if you have not subscribed yet, please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you, and be part of this family. Much love.